Hey guys, welcome to my channel. I'm Tyler. Today's an exciting video. We're talking about R50 suspension that you've never heard of. So I guarantee that between one of these four brands, you've probably never heard of the suspension company or the products that they make. So let's get right into it. Let's get you set up. So, R50 suspension. We're going to call this Mystery Edition because even I don't know everything about these coils. So let's start with probably the most popular of these ones that I've actually talked to people with them on, Dobinson. So Dobinson, as far as I can tell, is based out of Australia. Now they offer a front coil that is 1.2 inches, and then their rear coil, they don't say how much it lifts. So NA, but one pair of coils, either front or rear, will run you 200 USD. So 400 USD to get their full suspension setup. I would guess the rear's got to be lifting 1 to 2 inches as well. But I know at least one owner, he's subscribed to this channel, he's on Import, he has those Dobinson coils, he seems to like them so far. So that's our first option. Then we've got Ironman. Again, I know one person with Ironman 4x4 coil springs. So they say front and rear will lift 1.5 inches on their coils. And a pair of those is going to run you 180 USD. So that's a pretty good price. That's competitive with OME, and all of these are competitive with the AC 4x4 springs. So next company, we're going to go TJM. Now this is Australia only as far as I can tell. Their United States website doesn't actually have R50 Pathfinder suspension parts listed for them. Only the Australian website, so I'm not sure if it's possible to get these in the US or not. But they say for front and rear coils, you're going to get 30 to 40 millimeters of lift height, which means 1.2 to 1.6 inches is your lift height range. That's coming at a cost of 225 USD. 295 Australian right now is about 225 USD, which is a bit of a bummer of a price. That's pretty expensive before shipping compared to most coils, but oh well. The last spring that I have only heard of in the darkest corners of the R50 internet, at least in the United States, is the King springs. So these are also front and rear, and they say you're gonna get, well, so they're, front, darn it, front, they're saying 1.2 inches, rear 1.6 inches, but here's the kicker, guys. I found them on eBay for 130 USD on those front coils. That's a winner right there. That's the cheapest R50 lift spring I have ever seen. That's competitive for a spring, especially if it rides good, which at that smaller lift height, generally that spring's going to ride pretty good, because you know what these all have in common is that all these lift heights, they look a lot like OME coils. That's what they look like to me. OME coils generally put people somewhere in the 1.2 to 1.7 inches of lift height. OME is known to settle over time, so you might start at 1.7, go down to 1.2. It varies from vehicle to vehicle and usage to usage, but in my experience, this is about what you can expect, and this is why a lot of people end up being able to run an OME spring with a 1-inch spacer, is because of that more mild lift height compared to a full 2-inch spring. You can usually get away with a 1-inch spacer. So these all look like OME kind of That's the territory that they're operating in. None of these look like the 4x4 parts coils that are 2 inches, 4x4 parts 2-inch coils. None of them quite look like that. So I'm guessing these are similar to OME, but if you're feeling adventurous, 130 bucks on eBay. I'll give you the link to that in the description, so you can check that out for yourself. But yeah, that's a kicker right there. And what's been happening all year is that OME springs have been on back order because they don't like come into the States all the time. They like come in batches. So you might order a spring, but they're out and the next batch isn't going to be here for a couple of months. So you run into that problem. I've seen guys who ran into that. He ordered Dobinson, and I saw another guy ended up ordering 4x4 parts because once they run out in the States, they could be out for a couple months at a time. So if that happens, these are your other options to get kind of OME equivalents. I mean, that being said, I know a total of 2 people who run all 4 of these springs. So just one Dobinson guy, one Ironman guy. But, you know, just looking at the specs, I think these are all going to ride about the same and lift about the same. Which is good news for people who want OME and either want a price hunt or OME's back ordered and you want it right now. Yeah. I think those will make good options. I'd be tempted, if I ever swap coils, I'd probably want to try one of these just to say I've done it. Probably go hunting for the Ironman coils, I think. Maybe Dobinson. I think the Dobinson ones are blue, which is pretty cool. Yeah, guys, if you have any questions about these, I'd be happy to answer them. I'd be happy to even, you know, probably do more research. But bottom line is you're going to want to go on, if you're looking at these coils, you're going to want to price hunt a little bit, see where you can find them. TJM, they split it at the facelift, so at like 2000 they have 2 different springs for the front, which is kind of weird, but oh well. But these should all fit QX4 and Pathfinder R50s. That's because they all use approximately the same struts, and so these should all work pretty well for you guys. Now in the rear, in my opinion, the Land Rover coils are about as good as it gets. Those LR coils, those are 80 bucks shipped USD, 2-day shipping. You get a 2 or 3 inch lift depending on the part number you pick. I don't think I could be compelled to go with a rear coil other than the Land Rover coils, and I have videos on those if you guys want to check them out. That's about as good as it gets. But these are other interesting options besides the typical debate between 4x4 parts and Old Man Emu. So thanks for watching, guys. Catch you later.